I pulled into the driveway at 9:47 p.m., exhausted from another 14-hour shift at the architecture firm. My hands ached from drafting blueprints all day. The porch light was off, which was strange. Then I saw them. Black trash bags scattered across the lawn like corpses, my belongings spilling out onto the grass. Neighbors stood on their porches, watching. Marcus stood at the front door, arms crossed, that familiar smug smile on his face. "About time you showed up, freeloader," he announced loud enough for everyone to hear. "Real men contribute, real men pay their way. You're done riding our coats." My chest tight. Mom appeared at the upstairs window, her face wet with tears, but she didn't move. She just watched. Marcus handed me a crumpled paper, an eviction notice backdated 2 weeks. "Be a man somewhere else, kid." My hands shook as I loaded trash bags into my car. The neighbors whispered. I drove away, my vision blurring. Then I opened my banking app. Balance, $287,439.16. I whispered into the empty car, "You have no idea what you just started." The motel room smelled like cigarettes and bleach. I sat on the stained bedspread, surrounded by trash bags containing my entire life. My father's watch sat heavy on my wrist. I called his old voicemail number just to hear his voice. "Hey, this is Michael, leave a message." The beep came. I sobbed into the phone like a child. I punched the wall, leaving a dent in the cheap drywall. My knuckles bled. I didn't care. I found Dad's letter in one of the bags, the one he wrote before he died. "Son, never let anyone make you feel small. You're a Caldwell. We build things that last." I'd spent 5 years trying to earn Marcus's approval, making myself smaller and smaller until I nearly disappeared. I opened Dad's file folder looking for comfort in old photos. That's when I found it, a document I'd never seen before, Life Insurance Trust Asset Protection Clause. The numbers didn't match what I thought I'd inherited. There was more, much more. And a lawyer's name I didn't recognize, Theodore Walsh. Monday morning, I called Brandon Pierce, my mentor at the firm. I told him everything. There was a long silence, then Brandon said something that shocked me. "Nathan, you know you're not an intern anymore, right? You've been a paid junior architect for 8 months. Salary $52,000 annually." My stomach dropped. "What?" But Marcus said. "You asked me to keep it quiet," Brandon interrupted. "You said your stepfather had a temper, that he got jealous when you succeeded. You made me promise not to tell anyone at home." It came back to me, that conversation last spring. I'd been terrified of Marcus finding out I was making real money. Brandon continued, "I had a stepfather like Marcus once. He tried to break me too. Here's what I learned: dignity isn't given, Nathan, it's taken back." Then Brandon said something that changed everything. "The house Marcus lives in, I know the owner, Helen Dorsey, sweet lady, 73 years old. She's been talking about selling her rental properties." He paused. "How much liquid capital do you have?" Mom called 3 days later. I almost didn't answer. "Nathan, please," her voice cracked. "Just apologize to Marcus. We can be a family again. He's willing to forgive you if you just admit you were wrong." I took a slow breath. "Mom, did Marcus tell you I've been paying rent $600 a month for 2 years? Silence, complete silence. That's not possible. We don't charge you rent." "Check your bank statements, Mom. I have receipts every month for 24 months. $14,400 total. Where did that money go?" I heard her breathing change. "You must have misunderstood. Marcus handles the finances. He kept it, Mom. He told me it was rent, then told you I lived there free." Her voice became defensive, scared. "You're trying to turn me against him. He loves me. He takes care of me." She hung up. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. "This is Helen Dorsey. I own the property at 2247 Maple Grove. I understand you might be interested in investment real estate. We should talk." I stared at the address. That was Marcus's house, the one he'd just thrown me out of. I disappeared, deleted social media, changed my number except for work, found a tiny studio apartment in the industrial district, $400 a month. I lived like I was broke, ate ramen, took the bus. Mom's texts came daily, then hourly. "Nathan, please call. Marcus feels terrible. We miss you." I didn't respond. Marcus started telling the extended family his version. "Uncle James called me. Your stepfather says you became disrespectful, refused to help around the house, stayed out all night partying." I didn't defend myself. I just said, "Believe what you want." Then I went completely silent. 2 weeks into my disappearance, a Facebook message appeared from Marcus despite me blocking him. He'd created a fake account. "I know what you're planning. I have connections in this town. You come after me, I'll tell everyone the truth about your father. Things that would destroy how you remember him. Things your mother never told you. He wasn't the saint you think. Back off or I'll burn down the only good memory you have left." My blood turned to ice. What was he talking about? My grandmother showed up at the coffee shop where I'd been working mornings before my architecture shifts. She marched straight to my table, a cardboard box in her arms. "Nathan Caldwell, we need to talk." She was furious, not at me, at Mom. "Your mother gave me this box 5 years ago when Michael died. Said she'd give it to you when you were ready. She forgot, conveniently." Grandma Rosa slammed the box on the table. Inside was Dad's watch, his journals, the compass he used for boat building. Letters he'd written to Mom during their courtship. Photos of me as a baby. "Your father knew," Grandma said, her voice shaking. "He was sick for months before he died and he knew. He told me if Deanne remarries, especially to someone controlling, Nathan's going to need protection. Make sure he gets everything." She pulled out a sealed envelope from the bottom of the box. Across the front in Dad's handwriting, open only if dineris. My hands trembled as I held it. Grandma squeezed my shoulder. Your father loved you more than his own life. He protected you even after death. Open it. The family ambush came on a Sunday. Uncle James called, said Grandma Rosa wanted a family dinner. When I arrived at the restaurant, everyone was there. Mom's 3 siblings. Marcus sat at the head of the table looking victorious. Nathan, Aunt Kelly started gently, we're concerned. This rift is tearing the family apart. Your mother is devastated. Can't you just apologize and move on? I stayed quiet. Marcus leaned back in his chair. The boy needs to learn responsibility. I tried to teach him, but he fought me every step. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and turned it around. On the screen, 24 transaction receipts, each one labeled Rent 2247 Maple Grove. $600 monthly for 2 years. I slid the phone down the table. Uncle James picked it up. His face went white. Marcus, what is this? Marcus's confident smile faltered. He's manipulating the records. He never paid. The bank statements don't lie, I said quietly. The table erupted. Marcus stood up, knocking his chair over. This is garbage, he's lying, he stormed out. Mom followed him like a shadow, but Uncle James pulled me aside in the parking lot, his voice urgent. Marcus came to me 6 months ago, needed $15,000, said it was an emergency, threatened to turn Diane against me if I refused. Marcus launched his campaign the next day. Facebook post, heartbroken when the child you tried to help turns against you, raised him like my own, gave him everything, now he spreads lies to destroy our family, pray for us. Comments poured in from people who didn't know the truth. Kids these days are so ungrateful. You deserve better. But then my best friend Jordan posted screenshots. Photos of me helping Marcus move furniture, fixing his car, mowing the lawn. Bank receipts with timestamps. Nathan paid rent. I was there when he handed Marcus cash. Marcus said it was teaching him responsibility. Who's really lying here? Others joined in. Coworkers from the architecture firm, neighbors who'd seen Marcus's cruelty. The narrative flipped. By evening, Marcus had deleted everything. That night, an email appeared in my inbox. No name, just a video file. I clicked it and my blood turned cold. The video was grainy, shot from someone's phone. Marcus sat at a bar, drunk, talking to someone off camera. The date stamp read 3 months before he kicked me out. The kid's sitting on money from his dead daddy, big inheritance. Once he turns 22, it's all his. He'll figure out he doesn't need us anymore. We gotta get him out before that happens. Mom appeared at my studio at midnight, pounding on the door. When I opened it, she was drunk, mascara streaking her face. She stumbled inside and collapsed on my cheap futon, sobbing. I knew, she whispered. I knew Marcus was keeping your rent money. I saw the cash. I asked him about it once and he got so angry. He said I was questioning his authority, that if I didn't trust him, maybe he should leave, so I stopped asking. Her whole body shook. I'm weak, Nathan, I'm so weak. After your father died, I couldn't handle being alone. The silence in that house was killing me. Then Marcus came along and he made me feel alive again, but somewhere along the way I stopped being your mother. I became his accomplice. I didn't know what to say. Part of me wanted to forgive her. Part of me wanted to scream. She passed out on my futon. The next morning, an envelope was slipped under my door. Inside, Mom's bank statement. Balance $247.82. A note in her shaky handwriting. 5 years ago I had $87,000 from your father's life insurance. I don't know where it went. Help me. Tuesday, 2 p.m. First National Bank. I'm filing for separate accounts. Please come. Brandon suggested hearing a private investigator. If Marcus is this threatened, there's more we don't know. The PI, a former cop named Vincent Torres, worked fast. 3 days later, he handed me a folder that made me sick. Marcus was drowning in debt. $60,000 in credit card debt, personal loans from shady lenders, gambling debts at the Riverboat Casino 15 miles away. His real estate career, the one he bragged about constantly, was a lie. He hadn't closed a sale in 7 months. His license was under review for ethics violations, but the worst part, Vincent found a loan document, $35,000 taken out in Mom's name. Her signature was on it, but the handwriting looked wrong. The money went straight into Marcus's personal account, then disappeared into cash withdrawals at the casino. Your mother probably signed something without reading it, Vincent explained. Marcus is good at manipulation. But here's the kicker, he's been meeting with a bankruptcy attorney. Filing date is 3 weeks out. He's going to try to claim your mother's assets, including any remaining benefits from your father's pension. You need to move fast, Nathan. Brandon arranged a meeting with Helen Dorsey at her home, a beautiful old Victorian near the waterfront. She served tea in delicate china cups. Marcus has been a difficult tenant, Helen said, her voice kind but tired. Late on rent for 4 straight months, always has an excuse. Recently he's been pressuring me to sell him the house at a discount. Says his family deserves stability. But I looked into it and he doesn't have the credit to qualify for a mortgage. She sighed. I'm 73, I own 3 rental properties. They've become too much work. I've been thinking about selling them all, but I want them to go to someone who'll care for them properly. As I left, my phone rang. Marcus. His voice was cold, calculated. I know you met with Helen, small town kid, people talk, here's what's going to happen. You walk away from whatever you're planning, or I show your mother proof that your father was having an affair. He was planning to leave both of you. Still want to play hero, or you want to protect your precious memories? My grip tightened on the phone, but I didn't respond, I just hung up. I drove to Riverside Cemetery. It was the anniversary of Dad's death, March 15th. I hadn't visited his grave in 2 years. The guilt had been too heavy. I sat in the grass beside his headstone and I broke. I told him everything. How Marcus threw me out, how Mom chose fear over me, how I didn't know what to do. An old man approached from a nearby grave, his eyes kind. You're Michael Caldwell's son. I nodded. I'm Warren Hughes. Your father and I went to college together. We stayed close. He sat down beside me. I heard you mention an affair accusation. Your father wasn't having an affair, son. He was dying, stage 4 pancreatic cancer. He hid it for 6 months so the life insurance wouldn't be contested. Some policies have clauses about terminal illness. He was protecting you and your mother financially. My breath caught. He was meeting with oncologists, getting treatments in secret. I drove him to appointments. He didn't want Diane to watch him suffer. Warren pulled a small USB drive from his pocket. Medical records, appointment logs, everything. Your father was a hero, Nathan. Don't let anyone tell you different. Helen invited me to her house for a formal meeting. Brandon came with me, acting as my advisor. She laid out the offer: 3 properties, total asking price $875,000, the Maple Grove house where Marcus lived, and 2 smaller rental homes, fair market value. I could secure financing with my inheritance and salary as collateral. I stared at the papers. This was real. I could become Marcus's landlord. The man who threw me out would have to answer to me. But was this revenge or justice? Was I doing this for the right reasons? Take a few days to think, Helen said kindly. This is a big decision. That night I called Grandma Rosa. Am I a bad person for wanting this? She was quiet for a long time. Your father once told me, the best revenge is building something beautiful where cruelty once stood. If you buy these properties and use them to help people to honor your father's memory, then it's not revenge, sweetheart, it's justice. 2 days later, Helen called me, her voice urgent. Nathan, I need to tell you something. Marcus came to see me yesterday. He has a Costner willing to back him. He's trying to buy the house himself. $50,000 deposit, closing in 2 weeks. I applied for financing at 3 banks. The first 2 rejected me. Too young, insufficient credit history. My confidence wavered. Maybe this was a stupid idea. Maybe I should just let it go. Then Brandon connected me with Patricia Delgado, a lender who specialized in young investors. She reviewed my financials, my employment history, my inheritance documentation. You're more qualified than most 30-year-olds I meet, she said, impressed. Approved. I sat in her office holding the approval letter and felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope, but Patricia's expression turned serious. There's something else. During our credit check, we found a red flag. Someone attempted to open a credit card in your name 2 weeks ago. The application was flagged for signature mismatch and denied. The address used, she slid a paper across her desk, 2247 Maple Grove, Marcus's house. Marcus had tried to steal my identity. I had proof of attempted fraud. This wasn't just a family dispute anymore. This was criminal. Patricia leaned forward. You need to file a police report, Nathan, today. Mom called me from a number I didn't recognize. Her voice was frantic, broken. Nathan, I confronted Marcus about the loan, the one in my name. He lied. He screamed at me. He said terrible things. I don't know what to do. I told her to leave to go to Aunt Kelly's house. She said she couldn't, that she had nowhere to go. We argued. She hung up. 3 hours later, my phone rang. Mercy General Hospital. Are you Nathan Caldwell? Your mother Diane was brought in by ambulance. Overdose. Prescription pills. She's stable, but she's asking for you. I drove 90 miles an hour to the hospital. Mom was in a bed, pale, IVs in her arms. She looked so small. I helped him, she whispered when she saw me. The Costner for the house, that was me. I gave him access to the last of your father's pension fund, $50,000. I helped Marcus try to buy that house so he could keep you out forever. She started crying. I didn't know what else to do. He said if I didn't help him, he'd leave me, and I couldn't be alone again. I couldn't. The doctor pulled me aside. She's going to need psychiatric care. This wasn't just about the pills. This was a breakdown from long-term emotional abuse. Marcus showed up at my studio 3 nights later. I heard pounding on my door. When I looked through the peephole, he was there, drunk, swaying. I called the police, but I also hit record on my phone. Open this door, you little punk, Marcus screamed. You think you can destroy my life? I made you, I gave you everything. I stayed silent, recording. He kept ranting. If you try to buy that house, I'll make sure your mother never speaks to you again. You hear me? Turn her against you so hard you'll wish you stayed gone. He punched my car in the parking lot, leaving a huge dent in the driver's side door. Then he left. The police arrived 10 minutes later. I showed them the recording and the damage. They filed a report. The officer taking my statement paused. We've had 3 domestic disturbance calls to 2247 Maple Grove in the past month. Your mother's name is on 2 of them. She refused to press charges both times. Did she mention anything? My chest tightened. Mom was in danger, real danger. Marcus was escalating. I needed to move faster, but first I needed to make sure Mom was safe. Grandma Rosa organized a family meeting at her house. Everyone came except Mom and Marcus. Aunt Kelly, Uncle James, Uncle Thomas, and my cousin Melissa. I laid out everything. The stolen rent money, the fake eviction, the loan in Mom's name, the identity theft attempt, bank statements, recordings, hospital records. The room went silent, then Aunt Kelly started crying. I told her not to marry him. I told her he was wrong, but she wouldn't listen. Uncle James looked furious. We need to get her away from him today. They called Mom together, confronting her gently but firmly, offering her a safe place to stay. Mom became defensive, angry. You don't understand what it's like. You all have perfect lives. You don't know what it's like to lose someone and be terrified you'll never love again. She hung up on them too. Aunt Kelly turned to me afterward, crying. Your father called me 2 weeks before he died. He asked me to promise something. He said, if Diane ever remarries someone who tries to erase me or hurt Nathan, you tell him. The will was structured to protect him. I made changes. He's safe no matter what she does. Helen officially offered me the 3 properties, $875,000, closing in 30 days. For 3 nights I couldn't sleep. I walked the streets, I sat in parks, I talked to Brandon, to Grandma Rosa, to my therapist from the hospital. My therapist asked the right question. If Marcus wasn't involved, if this were just an investment opportunity, would you still buy these properties? I thought about it. Honestly, yes, they were good properties, solid income potential. A smart investment for my future. Marcus was incidental. He was just a bad tenant who happened to be tied to my worst memories. I called Helen. I accept. As I signed the purchase agreement at her kitchen table, my phone rang. Aunt Kelly panicked. Nathan, you need to come to Maple Grove right now. Your mother told Marcus she's leaving him. He's destroying the house. Police are on the way, but she's locked herself in the bathroom. I think he's going to burn it down. I grabbed my keys and ran to my car. 20-minute drive. I made it in 12. Police cars were already there, lights flashing. Marcus was in handcuffs, screaming. Marcus saw me arrive and lost his mind. You, he screamed, fighting against the officers. You think you've won? That house will never be yours. I made sure of it. An officer pushed him toward the patrol car, but Marcus kept shouting. Check the foundation, kid. I made sure that house has problems you'll never fix. It's worthless now. You're buying a pile of garbage. My heart sank. Had he sabotaged the property? Helen's sale was contingent on inspection approval. If the house was damaged, the deal could fall through. The fire chief approached me. We found gasoline in the garage. He was planning to torch it. Your aunt's 911 call stopped him just in time. Mom came out of the house shaking, supported by Aunt Kelly. She wouldn't look at me. Marcus was loaded into the patrol car, still screaming threats. I stood in the driveway of the house that had been my home, my prison, my battlefield, and I felt nothing but exhaustion. The next morning, I called an emergency structural engineer. We needed to inspect that house immediately. The structural engineer, a no-nonsense woman named Carmen Ortiz, spent 4 hours going through the Maple Grove house with sensors and cameras. She found minor vandalism, cut electrical wires in the basement, holes punched in drywall, damaged trim. Nothing structural, nothing catastrophic. He was bluffing, Carmen said. Probably drunk and trying to scare you. The foundation is solid. Repairs will cost maybe $3,000. The sale can proceed. Relief flooded through me. But as Carmen packed her equipment, I explored the garage where Marcus had stored the gasoline. In the corner, hidden behind old paint cans, was a cardboard box labeled Diane's Private in Mom's handwriting. I opened it. Inside, love letters, but not from Marcus to Mom. From Marcus to someone named Veronica Chen, dated 6 months ago, current, recent, an ongoing affair. Also inside, bank statements showing Marcus sent $18,000 to Veronica over 8 months. Money that came from Mom's accounts. And at the bottom, a forged affidavit with Mom's signature, clearly doctored, giving Marcus power of attorney. I photographed everything. This was total leverage. Marcus had been cheating on Mom while draining her accounts and manipulating her into helping him. Closing day arrived. I sat in the attorney's office, signing page after page. Helen sat across from me, smiling kindly. Your father would be proud, Nathan. When the attorney handed me the keys, 3 sets for 3 properties, I just stared at them. The key to 2247 Maple Grove felt heavier than the others. I drove to Dad's grave afterward and sat there for an hour holding the keys. I did it, Dad. I don't know if you'd be proud or worried, but I did it. As I was leaving the cemetery, my phone buzzed. Text from an unknown number. Congratulations on your purchase, but you don't know what I did to that house. Sleep well, landlord. It was Marcus from jail. He must have had someone smuggle in a phone. My hands started shaking. What if Carmen missed something? What if Marcus really had sabotaged the property in ways we couldn't see yet? I drove to Maple Grove, unlocked the front door, and stepped inside. The smell of gasoline still lingered faintly. I walked through every room, checking, searching. Then I saw it. On the living room wall, carved into the drywall with a knife. You'll regret this. I sent the required new landlord letters to all 3 properties, professional, courteous, outlining the terms. Marcus's letter was delivered through his attorney since he was in custody awaiting trial for attempted arson. That night my phone exploded. Voicemails from extended family members who'd heard through the gossip chain, some supportive, some accusing me of being vindictive. I ignored them all. Then a certified letter arrived, a law firm I didn't recognize. Marcus was suing me for conspiracy to commit housing fraud and elder abuse of Helen Dorsey, claiming I'd manipulated a vulnerable old woman into selling to me. Emergency injunction requested. Court date 2 days away. If he won, the sale could be reversed. I called Brandon in a panic. He can't do this, can he? Brandon's voice was calm. He can try, but he won't win. We have Helen as a witness. We have documentation of his harassment, his late rent payments, his attempted arson. This is a desperate move. Still, I couldn't sleep that night. What if the judge believed Marcus? What if I lost everything? The court hearing felt like a nightmare. But when Helen Dorsey took the stand and calmly explained Marcus's months of harassment, the judge's expression said everything. The judge dismissed Marcus's lawsuit in under 20 minutes. This case has no merit and borders on frivolous, denied. Outside the courthouse, Marcus was waiting. He was out on bail for the arson charge, looking disheveled and desperate. He cornered me in the parking lot, his breath stinking of alcohol even at 10 a.m. You destroyed my life, he hissed, backing me against my car. I pulled out my phone calmly and opened the photo gallery. The pictures from the box, love letters to Veronica, bank transfers, the forged documents. Here's what's going to happen, I said, my voice steady and cold. You're going to sign a separation agreement releasing all claims to my mother's assets. You're going to vacate the property within 60 days, and you're going to disappear from our lives. Marcus's hands were shaking. Or what? Or I show her everything, and she takes you for every penny you don't have. I know about Veronica. I know about the $18,000. I know about the forged power of attorney. I stepped closer. I own that house now, Marcus, the one you threw me out of, the one you said was yours. I'm your landlord, and you're a tenant who tried to commit arson. Try me. Marcus's face went white. He stumbled backward, got in his car, and drove away. Mom called me from the hospital 3 days later. She'd had a complete breakdown and was admitted to psychiatric care. When I visited, she was medicated but clearer than I'd seen her in years. I know about Veronica, she whispered. Kelly showed me the pictures. I've been such a fool. She apologized, really apologized, took full accountability for choosing Marcus over me, for the years of enabling his abuse, for betraying Dad's memory. Over the next weeks, Mom moved in with Aunt Kelly. She didn't call me much, the shame was too heavy, but she started therapy, started rebuilding her credit, started taking control of her own life again. Marcus was evicted legally after his arson arrest violated the lease terms. His trial resulted in 18 months in county jail for attempted arson, fraud, and identity theft. 3 weeks into their separation, Mom called me. Her voice was different, stronger. I need to show you something. Meet me at the house tomorrow. Your house, noon. Come alone, I agreed, nervous. When I arrived, Mom was standing in the driveway with a police officer and a locksmith. Marcus hid something here before you bought it, something that belongs to you. The locksmith opened a hidden compartment Marcus had built under the garage floorboards. Inside, Dad's tools. His handmade compass, his measuring instruments, the woodworking tools Grandma Rosa said had disappeared after he died. Marcus had stolen them and hidden them, planning to sell them, but he never got the chance. I held Dad's compass in my hands and cried. A year passed. Marcus served his time, then moved 3 states away. We never heard from him again. Mom rebuilt her life slowly, got a job at the library, lives in a small apartment near Aunt Kelly. We have dinner once a month. It's still awkward, but we're healing. I renovated the Maple Grove house beautifully and rented it to a single mother with 2 kids at below market rate. I kept Dad's height marks on the kitchen doorframe, the ones tracking my growth, preserved behind glass. The rental income funds a scholarship I created, the Michael Caldwell Memorial Fund for kids who have lost a parent. On the anniversary of Dad's death, Grandma Rosa and I stood in the house together. He'd be so proud, not because you won, but because you didn't lose yourself. A letter came from Mom that week. Inside, a check for $600. The first month's rent Marcus stole. I'm paying you back 1 month at a time. I have 23 more to go.